Okay, so in today's video we are going to talk about what we consider to be our top 10 travel hacks to help make your travels a little bit easier.
Okay, so our first tip is we're talking about how to pack your suitcase efficiently. And by saying this, it's because most airlines charge a lot of money for every suitcase that you have to check when traveling. So you want to be able to get everything packed all in one suitcase, or maybe two depending on how long you're traveling for. But when packing your suitcase, most of the times you're only packing your clothes and things you're going to wear. And standardly we just fold our clothes and pack it at home, but when packing your suitcase, you want to fold the clothes and roll it up as tight as possible. This way it takes less space on a hole in the suitcase because it's taking less air, and air does take space in the suitcase. So by doing this you're able to pack more things in that suitcase more efficiently. Okay, and at number 2 we're talking about keeping your clothes smelling fresh. Now when you're traveling, the last thing you want to do is have to rewash your clothes when you reach your destination because they smell frowsy or have a bad scent on them. So a way to avoid having to do this is by placing dryer sheets in your suitcase when you pack your clothes. This will help keep your clothes smelling fresh and to avoid you having to do any extra work when you're traveling. Okay, and our third travel hack. This one is not 100% guaranteed that it's always going to work, but it does increase the chances. When you pack your suitcase and you're at the airport, sometimes placing a fragile sticker on the suitcase will ensure once it's being handled in the back and going onto the plane that it's handled carefully, and most times they tend to place these bags on top of everything else to avoid it being anything inside it being broken because there is a fragile sticker on it. And this would increase your chances of your luggage coming out first once you arrive at your destination to speed up the process. Now, like we're saying, there isn't a 100% guarantee it's going to work, but it does increase your chances and it doesn't hurt to try. Okay, and at number 4 is keeping an electronic copy of your passport. Now we did cover this in one of our previous videos, but it also applies here as well and in general in your life. Keeping an electronic copy of your passport in case it ever gets lost, stolen, damaged, misplaced. You have an electronic copy of that document which can help you get a replacement, or if you're abroad, help show your identification. Okay, and at number 5, we advise notifying your bank and credit card companies while traveling. In today's society, many people believe in a cashless system, and a lot of people don't like carrying around cash, especially if you're traveling. It's sometimes easier to simply use your debit card or credit card to make your purchases. And if you're traveling internationally, your bank and credit card companies may be accustomed to seeing you only making purchases in your hometown, and may actually block your card if you try to make an international purchase for your protection and for your safety. So by notifying them beforehand that, hey, you're going to be traveling for 2 weeks to your foreign destination, they're going to ensure that you're able to make your purchases without you getting blocked or declined and having to deal with that embarrassing situation while abroad. Okay, and our next tip is choosing your airline seats as early as possible. Now, in most circumstances, you are in fact allowed to select your seat when you're purchasing your plane ticket. And if possible, we always try and get an aisle seat or a window seat, depending on the layout of the plane, of course, so that you avoid having to sit in the middle of 2 strangers. So, it's always good to choose your seats as early as possible to avoid this, because most of the times if you wait last minute, all the aisle seats or window seats are booked up and you are stuck sitting in the middle of 2 strangers. Okay, and our next tip is when abroad, if you do in fact want to hold on to some foreign currency for when making purchases, we advise using a local ATM to try and get that cash. When you land in that country, most times they will have a currency conversion there. However, they do charge higher exchange rates than usual, as well as sometimes they charge a convenience fee of simply using them at the airport to get that currency. So don't try to avoid using them. Once you land, use a local ATM, maybe at the hotel or nearby bank, and you'll be able to get some local currency at your bank's exchange rate on what they decide. Okay, and at number 8, we advise to always try and protect your electronics. Now, if you're going to be traveling on vacation and let's say you're hanging out a lot at the beach or at the pool, you want to make sure that your phone stays safe, that your phone doesn't get wet and destroyed and stops working in the middle of your trip. So if you're going to be spending a lot of time in the water, near a pool, beach, it's always good to either carry like a plastic bag or a Ziploc bag that you can place your phone inside to keep it from getting wet. And they actually sell cases nowadays that keeps your valuables secure in a waterproof bag, and you can close and keep it quite safe. So we advise investing in one of those, or if not, simply carrying a Ziploc bag. It does work out for the better in the future. And number 9 is your phone and laptop accessories are important too. And by this we mean it's no sense having your valuable electronic with you while traveling if there is no way of charging it, or if you have a required accessory to even use that electronic and you don't have it, then you're carrying dead weight for no reason. So we advise always ensure to have your headphones, your chargers, your stylus if needed while traveling, and we advise if a nice way to store them is actually if you have a spare glasses case, you can wrap your cords up and keep them securely in that case and pack them away neatly when traveling, or there are even design cases for these purposes that you can invest in as well. So always take note of this when traveling to ensure that you always have access to these electronics. Okay, and our final tip for when traveling to make traveling easier is always keep an extra suit of clothing in your carry-on or backpack. I've personally experienced this in my life, traveling and the airline losing my suitcase or my suitcase getting left behind or ending up on the wrong plane. And I've landed in the foreign country and I don't have my suitcase. Fortunately for me, I did pack an extra suit of clothes in my hand luggage, so I did have something to change into when I arrived at my hotel, and the airline did end up finding my suitcase and it arrived 2 days later. But because I had the extra suit of clothing in my carry-on, I was able to make use of that until my suitcase arrived, and so that I didn't have to buy any additional clothing. Okay, and these were our top 10 travel hacks to help make traveling a little bit easier. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit subscribe and remember to like the video, and if you have any recommendations or travel hacks you would like to share, feel free to comment below. But thank you for watching.